2019 ushers in a new era of World Challenge competition in North America with an enhanced focus on SprintX format races in the GT categories, with one notable exception. In the GT4 category, a separate national championship has been maintained for the historical sprint race format of one driver, 50-minute races, and that series begins this weekend on the fabulous Florida Suncoast and the superb street circuit winding through the St. Petersburg downtown waterfront. Hi all, and welcome to the Pirelli GT4 America Streets of St. Pete, presented by CrowdStrike. I'm Greg Creamer, delighted to be joined once again this season by Calvin Fish and Ryan Marine. And Cal, there's always so much to look forward to at a season opening event, but one of the real jewels simply is this venue.
It's just a great event, Greg. Massive crowds all 3 days here. It's become the Long Beach of the East. The fans and the city have really embraced the weekend. I raced there 33 years ago, and it's just remarkable to see how downtown has changed. So many cool restaurants. It's just a great starting point for our sprint championships.
Well, good starting point, but the rest of the season, there's some additionally great venues that we're going to be running on as well.
Yeah, we go from here to the streets of Long Beach, and then in the heart of our season, the historic classic venues like VIR, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, Sonoma, the Glen, Road America, and then that dramatic finale at Vegas. It's going to be a great season.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it immensely, and there's some great seats in the house way up high. I love that. But speaking of this as a street circuit here on the streets of St. Pete, very highly rated.
It really is. It's a nice flowing circuit, not too much stop and go. It's got some technical areas, but it gives you room to race. Certainly turn one here, we expect some action. Very slippery down on the inside there with those painted lines from the taxiway for the airport here. And then you really get through the flow of the corners here, through 2 and 3. It's very tight, really funnels down for those first couple of laps there until the field spreads out a little bit. Then you want to get out of turn 3. This long run, there's a bit of a bump as you come down there. You see cars jog around, a bit like Casino Square at Monaco as they come down this approach to turn 4. Good overtaking opportunity there. Then this technical section. You have to hit your marks. You have to be patient. You just got to focus on making sure you don't open the door for anyone. It's a big risk to make a move through here. Then it opens up a little bit further. This is through 7, through 8, and you really got to key on turn 9, which is that tight corner, that right-hander, 90-degree corner onto that long back stretch. And then it really ramps up in terms of the speed down here. Then you approach that very fast kink, and when the marbles start to build, Greg, we saw yesterday suddenly that racing line is really narrowed, and then you get into this brake zone for turn 10. Good overtaking opportunity here, but if you run out of room, that concrete wall is right there, and then it opens up through a nice flow through the chicane, 11, 12, and then finishes off with a very difficult final corner. You have to really focus on this one, diamonding the corner, setting up to open your hands, get on the power early, and set up that straightaway speed.
Drivers like it. It's a place for a street circuit that's got overtaking opportunities, and as a result, we see some great racing. We certainly saw one in yesterday's opening round of the championship, and of course, fast lap in those races determines who starts in what position in the second race. And as you watch some of the people really enjoying the sweet seats in the house here, I love the fact this track literally just carves around this marina, and it gives you some great views. From a driver's perspective, of course, the best view you want is from the front row.
It really is, and those fast laps yesterday were very important. There's a real strategy in making that happen. There's going to be some drivers who want to rebound from a difficult race yesterday to start their championship season.
Yeah, I was looking at those beautiful yachts there, and I understand yours isn't here just because it's a little bit too big to fit. Yeah, it was crucial. And the interesting thing, some of the drivers that had some issues in the race in terms of finishing position are given the opportunity because of a lap. Notably, Shane Lewis, who had that problem early, he's going to start right up there in that third row.
Yeah, he's looking very strong. Both of those cars for the Ranch 74 team are looking good here. Gar Robinson, a great podium run yesterday. He'll start on the second row of the grid. So we've got 7 different manufacturers in the field here. We have 4 different manufacturers on the front 2 rows.
Yeah, that's a big story. 6 different manufacturers in the top 4 rows. I mean, they have done a nice job in terms of the BOP here and got everybody in pretty close. Remember, there were 2 different categories racing. There's the Pro overall category and then the AM category. And a great lap late in the race and a great race by Tony Gaples after that Team Black Dog making the switch to McLaren this year. Just getting comfortable with it throughout all of the practice and qualifying sessions. Really seemed to find his groove, if you will, come the race, put in a great lap, and ended up qualifying on the front row with a solid second-place finish in AM.
Yeah, that'll be a great battle there. A lot of great AM competitors here this weekend looking for a big day.
Another one, Marco Radicic, will explain a little issue that he had during the race, and when they solved it, he was an absolute rocket ship out there in the BMW. But right now, just about time for that special command. It has been given, and this field springs to life. We're anticipating once again 2 formation laps. There was no warm-up this morning for these cars to be able to get out on track. Big story, Cal, at the very back of the field for Nikolai Elgahanian. Massively huge effort by the crew to get him on track today.
Yeah, he had a big shunt there yesterday. Lost the left rear wheel in the high-speed section through turn 3. Big crash. They've gotten the backup car. Spoke to the team. They worked pretty much all night. They got about an hour's sleep. We're here till 4 a.m. this morning. Chance for a quick nap and a shower, and big effort there to get Nikolai back in the game.
And Nikolai said even though he was a bit sore, he absolutely was determined to look after the crew. Took off, got him a big batch of barbecue and brought it back and said, have at it, guys, really appreciate it. And they do have it in the field. Now, that car, it's their basically their spare, their show car. He said didn't get a chance to convert it to 2019 spec, so it's still running the old 2017 spec. Doesn't have the updated engine management. It's a little heavier than the other chassis, but at least he's racing.
It's damage control literally after the big shunt yesterday. He just wants to get a few points here today, and he's in the championship for the long haul, and these are the days you have to just dig deep and try and do what you can.
And there's Jade Buford, who, of course, looked so strong early yesterday until he had that little bit of a moment, got down to the inside, and it got a little bit squirrely on him. Let's go back, Cal, real quick, take a look at the incident for Nikolai Elgahanian, and you'll realize, one, it's great he's racing, but two, the effort that crew put in.
Yeah, it's right after the restart, and you see him, you see the wheel nut come off, then he loses the left rear, and then there's a big impact with the wall, which comes up in a hurry once you get through turn 3. Here's another look at it. Massive impact, and the boy was lucky to walk away, and he said he's feeling pretty good. A little sore this morning, and a big effort to get the backup car ready and put him on the grid.
Yeah, these crews, truly the unsung heroes of this sport, to be sure. So take a look at that starting grid across the top of your screen. Find your favorite driver and or team and follow along. Let's get to the story. The black BMW, the PrecisionDrivingTech.com BMW of Marco Radicic. He'll be coming into a view here right behind the McLarens. There he is in that black BMW. Had a problem early in yesterday's race, was showing some good pace in practice and qualifying. Apparently had an overheat in the car. The sensors went off and alarmed, and they were alarmed, didn't want to lose the engine. They had the crew had him pull over, I guess, and do a reset. And by the time that happened, the engineer from BMW found him and said, no, don't worry about it, you're good to go. He threw down some laps.
Yeah, he's going to be in a great battle. Tony Gables, we said, a great debut race for him with that McLaren. He's on the AM pole, finished second here yesterday, so looking for his first win of the year. And as we know, Tony Gables typically races better than he qualifies.
Yes, he does.
And he's on the front row, so expect great things for him today.
Yeah, great news for that. Just seeing him running for Radicic, going to be a good story. And, you know, the battle, Jared Andretti started on the AM pole as his first season in GT4 racing in a McLaren, did a great job, got a little tap in the race that damaged him and took him out of competition. Preston Calvert, Glennon, Brynjolfsson, and that bright yellow machine. This whole group from Andretti right there in that now Andretti Autosport McLaren has been very, very quick. Calvert behind him, and the rest of the field in AM was packed.
There was some great battles throughout the field on that restart, and that reset certainly fired things back up again, but everyone's going to be digging deep. And you think about it, Greg, typically the drive
sprint racing, so it's 50-minute races, round 2 of the championship. That's that very snug turn 10. Then the chicane, the very fast left-right flick here, right-left flick, I should say, into that final turn. And everybody at this stage starting to get lined up side by side. Game time.
Let's not forget down on the inside there with those painted stripes down into turn 1. Very slippery on the inside. We saw Jade Buford, our pole sitter, run afoul of that yesterday, slid out wide and essentially lost the lead and the race. See what line he takes this go around.
All right, here we go. Watch for the green flag from the starter stand. Field queued up beautifully. You can see Andretti feinting right a little bit, wants to have an opportunity. Green flag flies, and away we go. And Buford wasting no time. Pumpelly in the blue Porsche having to defend on one of those 74 Ranch Resort cars, and he squarely hits the curb in turn 1.
Up and over the curb. Shane Lewis got a great start in the second of the Camaros. There you see him, the number 72 car. He recognized he had to bail out of the brakes a little bit early. Does a nice job by not making contact with his teammate as they now run line astern. Michael Cooper there. The black McLaren is having a nice start to this one. Preston Calvert down the inside. It's going to be tight on Tony Gables. Just makes it through.
Glennon trying the outside of Brynjolfsson.
Look at Il Gahanian. What a first lap for him.
Cow.
He is on the move from the tail end of the pack in that crossbow.
Yeah, he's highly motivated to reward that crew for the job they put in. There's Buford already stretching that margin over the Panos of James. Then the blue TRG Porsche of Pumpelly. And Cooper, a great start. Started 6th, up into 4th in the early running, clearing both of those 74 Ranch Resort Camaros.
Buford doing just like he did yesterday. See another move by Al Gahani. Look for another position on Glennon down into turn 10. Can't quite make it. Good opening lap here. Everyone racing hard but keeping it clean. Buford has just taken off like he did yesterday. Yesterday it was over Pumpelly. Now we've got Ian James, yesterday's race winner, sitting in the second position in the Panos.
And there's Cooper having a little bit of a look, or maybe just trying to protect as Robinson gets to run up along the outside. Gar's going to try to ramp the outside. You can do that here. Cooper trying to stay put, but Gar's going to be well placed for turn 2, and he has made that pass stick.
Yeah, and you can see Michael Cooper there really sensitive on the brakes. He didn't want to get into the ABS system where it goes a little bit numb and takes away some of your braking force. He knew that inside line is super slick. That car's got a little bit of damage from a hit he took yesterday. They didn't change the door on that McLaren because there's some electronic potential issues if you do that. So got a little bit of a wounded car, but it's running well.
Speaking of McLaren's running well, how about Jared Andretti? He has gone by both Gaples and Radisic and has taken the lead in the AM class in that orange nose McLaren. That just seems to flow right, orange McLaren. As he whistles through the window world Andretti Autosport entry. Radisic sits second in that black PrecisionDrivingTech.com BMW. And then Gaples and the Black Dog McLaren third in AM.
I think for Jared Andretti, he's used to running those really short sprint car races, so he's up on the wheel early. Nice opening couple of laps for him, getting that car back to the front after the repair last night.
Spencer Pumpelly tucked right in behind Ian James. And one of the things when you talk about balance of performance, you've got big V8s, and that Porsche's got a flat 6 mounted in the back. They run different weights. It's an interesting study, isn't it? And Lewis taking a look at the number 10 of Cooper, and Cooper able to dissuade him at that point. But they're losing touch with that group up front now.
Yeah, they really are, which is a bit of a surprise. But Gar Robinson very much in the mix. Quick spin there for Michael Dinan down in turn 1. That's the Flying Lizard. Maybe some damage there to the left front. Possible contact with another competitor. Caused the spin, and maybe that front fender is chewing into that left front Pirelli P0.
Boy, and Andretti may have gotten around Marco Radisic, but he is not driving away from him. Marco staying very, very close. Right behind that McLaren, there's that BMW. Then here comes Gaples and Calvert. There's this great battle for second in the Pro and overall class, but this battle for the lead in AM, Andretti and Radisic right there, absolutely nothing between them at this stage.
Marco having a great run here this weekend. It's his local track. Hasn't always been kind to him. I remember when he burned down that Ferrari, Greg.
Absolutely.
So nice to see him having a strong run here this weekend.
Well, he's actually taken that precision driving, which has been in a sense, a driving school track day program that he's created, and they've now turned it over into Precision Driving Tech, and they've created their own product line. And he looks to the inside of it. Andretti's a little bit too far back, but at least showing the nose.
Lewis
and
gets inside
Lewis gets
Cooper.
through. Yes, he does.
Nothing that Michael could do. The Camaro just got alongside and used the middle of the road, not right down to the inside where there's zero grip. We saw guys yesterday kind of running that cushion, that outside line, and maintaining the track position when someone was trying to make a move. Oh, Ian James out wide there. Pumpelly's all over him. He looks to the inside. Gar Robinson in their shadows.
Talking with Ian, he said, we have made a real concerted effort here to have a car. He said it won't come in as fast perhaps as some of the others, but he said we really like this car to be strong at the end of the race. And he said we may be hanging on a little bit early. I think that's maybe exactly what we're seeing.
Yeah, and I think for Spencer Pumpelly, I think that move or that line that he's taking it in the brake zones is somewhat to put a little pressure on Ian James, but also dissuade Gar Robinson from having to go down the inside as well.
He exited at 11 and 12, a little quick flick, and into 13, now 14, onto the front straight. And Jade Buford, he is stretching that margin out here. But now Ian, for the first time, has a little bit more room over Pumpelly. And Robinson looking to the inside of Pumpelly. So he's going to have to come from a little bit too far back.
Super
deep. think he got into
Yeah,
that
he
ABS.
just missed his braking point a little bit. Maybe activated the ABS. Had enough room to jink to the left side, the outside, and miss Spencer. That was close.
As you can see, Buford now the margin up to almost 4 seconds at start finish. And then you can throw the proverbial blanket here over this group. All right, going to take a look at what happened to Michael Dinan.
Oh, late move there down on the inside of Collingwood there. Yeah.
And that's fluid, so that's that side radiator. And he's in trouble heading to the pit lane in the Flying Lizard Porsche.
There'll be better days to come. It's a really strong group there, led by Darren Law and engineer Jim Bell, Robbie Foley, the coach there for Michael, and they're going to have a strong season.
This is battle for second, battle for fourth between the two teammates. Cooper hanging on in fifth and being hounded by Jared Andretti, who is your AM leader right now, knocking on the door of a potential top 6 at this stage.
Well, this
And
is just a
Radisson,
great run for Andretti. I mean, put it in
Yeah.
perspective, Michael Cooper's a 3-time World Challenge champion. He's won at every level. So for Jared Andretti, with his limited experience in road racing, to be putting the pressure on a McLaren factory driver is a superb run.
And one of the impressive things in talking to him is he said, running with Andretti Autosport, he said, I'm back with a group of people I know very well, I'm comfortable with, some of them with me back in the Global Rallycross days. And he said, Graham Quinn, his engineer, he said, I've known him forever and have absolute complete faith and trust in him. And we've always communicated well, and I think that's really showing.
Yes, I mean, and that confidence will build. I mean, strong weekend at COTA. Had a DQ, unfortunately, after a race day 1 win, but came back the next day with Carl Thompson to grab an AM victory there. And was well on his way to a strong run yesterday before he got the tap.
And here's this AM battle for that lead spot as Andretti right behind Cooper, which is really good for him. He gets an opportunity, somebody in a similar car, to follow somebody with Cooper's experience, but he's hanging right with him. But right behind him, you've got Radisic, then you've got Tony Gaples and Preston Calvert, and it's really a good scrap for the lead in the AM class right now.
There's a long way to go in this
Yes.
race. There's really going to question is who's managing their tires the best. Starting to get a little toasty here today as the sun is out now. It's a beautiful day. It's been a beautiful weekend here in St. Petersburg.
Well, in theory, that should really suit Marco. One of the things he does is, other than qualifying, he tends to spend every other session at the racetrack in the oldest tires that he can. He said, I want to make sure that when that car's light on fuel and the tires are at their worst, that relative to everybody else, I've got a good car. He really focuses on that. So we'll see how that plays out. And boy, this battle for second in the...
It's heating up, and
Yes, it
Carl
is.
Robinson just laid down the fastest lap of the race, and that was half a second quicker than Jade Buford at the front. So Buford's car came alive early. He got to the front. He's taken off, but that gap is reducing every lap right now, as you can see that pack chasing him down.
And unfortunately, along with Dinan, who's pulled into the pits and is out with that radiator damage, we get news that CJ Moses, who's making his debut in Pirelli GT4 America World Challenge competition this weekend in the CrowdStrike Amazon Web Services Audi from Global Motorsports, who apparently brushed the wall just hard enough that it got the tire rod, and he's had to retire. It's unfortunate.
It is. Steep learning curve when you come to this level of racing and you're doing it on a street circuit as well for the first time, but hope to see CJ back later in the season. Look at this move by Carl Robinson, picks up the draft, moves to the inside. Can he make it stick? Pompelli gives him just enough room, then swings back across and takes that line. So Gar's learning here. Maybe he's got a little bit left on the table and take it in a little bit deeper and not allow Spencer to swing back across and take the racing line. But that's allowed Ian James to gap this trio of cars a little bit.
And Gar doing a nice job moving to the inside, not getting caught out by that slippery paint on the inside.
Got a good wingman behind him,
Yes,
Shane
he
Lewis.
does. Here's that crucial run up through 7, 8, 9, and this is 9A they call it, and this kink is quick.
It really is. And you look at the racetrack, so much cleaner than the conditions they ran in yesterday. And that makes a big difference on turn-in and particularly on exit, where the marbles, once they start to form, there's nowhere for them to go. And the majority of this street circuit
Jade Buford in that PF Racing Mustang. Look at the margin he's built up. Now, it was up to almost 4 seconds a couple laps ago. Last time by, it had been trimmed to about 3 seconds. And see what it is this time by. See what he's able to do. In terms of response, and Pumpelly this time decides I'm not going to give him the opportunity, moves to the inside and defends on Gar. Gar's going to try and sweep the outside, Cal.
He does. Spencer, oh, it's going to be tight right there. Gar up and over the curb. That's going to cost him exit speed. His teammate's right there. Can he take advantage? Gar Robinson is working over Spencer Pumpelly, and by defending on Gar Robinson, Spencer and the gang, they're allowing to Ian James get away. Spencer's struggling for grip. The Camaros look awfully strong right now.
Boy, they do, and I'll tell you, the fact that these guys are scrapping so hard, as you said, is allowing Ian James to get away. Maybe not the best news for Mr. Buford up front, because James now, he's got enough of a margin. He didn't have to worry about being attacked from behind. He could just go after Buford, and he's been running slightly quicker laps as he tries to run down your leader, Jade Buford, in the PF Racing Mustang. Battle for third is intense, though, Cal. Fabulous racing here. Then you go back a little bit. Great battle for the lead in the AM category. This is good stuff.
It really is, and I'm fascinated to watch how these cars are starting to handle. Now they've got 12 minutes on the board. Big difference from those early laps. Sweetness is taken out of those Pirelli P-Zeros as they start to get tortured around this street circuit. The racetrack is heating up. Gar Robinson looking to the inside once again. Releases that brake, tries to roll apex speed.
And in yesterday's race 1 of the championship, on pole was Spencer Pumpelly in that Blue LaSalle Solutions Adobe Road Winery portion with a new track record. But the race was late in the afternoon and it was warm, and he said that they were running a little bit warm, which takes a little power away. Shouldn't really be an issue this morning. It's sunny, but it's still a little cooler than it was yesterday at this stage. Spencer's still working hard to try and fend off these two Camaros.
Yeah, and I think for Ian James, he's really got his sights on Spencer Pumpelly. I think he believes that Spencer may be the main force against him for the championship this year. Payno's coming off a manufacturer's title last year. Ian won 6 races but didn't claim the driver's title, and he wants that in the biggest possible way. Jade Buford, we understand, is not doing the full championship season right now. He had a bad day yesterday, even though he led for quite a ways. So for Ian James, he's just thinking big picture right now. He's a very smart and savvy racer.
And that beautiful graphic package on that Paynos, of course, running in honor of Dr. Don Paynos, who passed away in September. And Ian was just elated, more maybe so than anything else, to get a win first time out flying those honorary colors here. He said it's just meant a lot to this team.
Yeah, and Ian is playing a double role this year, certainly driving the cars we can see right now, but also more of a team manager role as Tom Milner has stepped away. Did a great job of the team last year, but there's so much experience there. Great group of guys and girls with that Paynos racing team.
Preston Calvert now starting to mount a little bit of a charge on Gaples.
Woo!
That was close for third in the AM category.
I love the way Preston races. It's like there's no rules. I can try anywhere I want.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun to watch.
Absolutely. And I've been watching Marco, too, on that long run down the big taxiway pit straight. He's moving offline. He's not close enough to make a move on Andretti. And remember, they had reports of temperature issues yesterday. I'm wondering if he's just trying to make sure he doesn't get a temperature spike in those alarms today.
Yeah, and that's key, just getting air to that front grille and to the cooling system. So smart at this stage of the game just to sit there, pace the leader right now. He's got a very strong BMW. I'd say this is his strongest run we've seen in World Challenge competition.
And that's the issue with C.J. Moses, and just grazed that wall right there. Looked like he was a little hot into that complex and ran out of racetrack.
He got away with one there because
yes.
A little rodeo ride there through the grass. Look at Gar Robinson, super tight on Pumpelly's rear bumper. And Ian James is not getting away. I think if Gar can clear Spencer, he may have enough speed to chase down Ian James again.
And Gar said they did a lot of testing in the offseason, and he said, cars are great, that's not the issue. He said, I just didn't know these Pirellis that well. We were doing most of our testing during the racing last year when they made that mid-season switch. And he said, the off-season now is what has given me the opportunity to really kind of get my head around these tires, and I'm starting to feel how the tires respond a lot better, and that's been huge.
Yeah, it's a big learning curve. I mean, they started the year last year with the AMG Mercedes GT4 platform, made the switch to the Camaro, and then that's tough to really go testing and really get things sorted out when you're in the middle of a racing season. So I think they regrouped at the end of the year, didn't want to do the Sprint X Championship, but focused on the Sprint Championship here, and just really done a ton of testing. Spoke to Jimmy Fraser, who leads that group, and he said, we've been testing like twice a month. These cars are dialed in. We expect a strong season, and they're certainly showing it here this weekend.
Well, you were right about the pace of Gar Robinson, maybe being able to get to the front. Just set fast race lap at a 1:19.19. That's wicked quick in race trim here.
He's a real chip off the old block. He looks a lot like his dad, George Robinson, who raced for many years in sports car competition. And a lot of that team remains there. Chemistry is such a key ingredient in motorsport, and he's got a really good group of engineers and team members there at Robinson Racing Ranch 74.
He's a great character too at CTMP, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park last year. He put on a great drive there, and I said, boy, that was fun. And he said, well, if nothing else, this team aims to bring fun wherever we go racing. And he's also bringing some pretty darn good racecraft here.
He just seems to have a lot of natural talent.
Yeah.
I think now he's getting to grips with this form of competition. It's going to be fun to watch him develop even further this year.
Yeah, it's a big difference between like the two-frame type chassis V8 stuff he's run and GT4 V8. It's a very, very different platform.
It is, but it's all about adapting.
Right.
I like it when young drivers are driving different cars and can drive anything, a bit like the heyday in the old days of guys like AJ Foyt jumping in and out of different cars. It makes you hone your craft a little bit further and makes you more versatile. He is really tucked up here.
Yeah.
Just got to factor in. Spencer picks that outside lane. There's a ton of grip there. He's going to roll it through. Super tight. Spencer's going to have to give him a few more inches because Gara's getting deeper and deeper down on the inside there. And eventually there's going to be some contact, but just good, clean, hard racing right now.
Last laps, this group, Buford running a 1:19.3, James a 1:19.3, and Spencer is just in full-on defense mode right now, running a 1:19.6. That last lap, Robinson a 1:19.4.
Gara's just working him over right now.
Pretty relentless. Andretti still hanging on, but only slightly by half a second to Radisek. Andretti in the 7th spot in the number 18. Window World, Andretti Autosport, McLaren over Radisek in the Performance Driving Tech BMW. Calvert has drifted back a couple seconds now behind Radisek, and he did, though, get around Gables, and so Calvert now up to 3rd in the AM class.
Well, that Porsche Cayman of Spencer Pumpelly twitching a little bit coming out of turn 9, try to get on the power early for that long run down the Bayside. We look for that battle here between Michael Cooper and Andretti, so this is not for a positioning class. Andretti has the lead in AM, but he wants to win. Talking to that group, they are not just focused on the AM champion. No, another late move by Gar, still not close enough. They want the best result possible. Yes, class victories are nice, but they want to be as sharp as they can towards the front of this pack.
The interesting thing for Cooper is he really needs to do everything he can to keep Andretti behind him, because when you run in the pro category, is this it? It's down to the inside. Oh, Cal, so close.
Spencer will just not give it up. Dogged determination by Spencer Pumpelly. He's got faster cars behind him, but using every ounce of his experience right now to hang on.
And Gar Robinson fully understanding that if I tap him in the back and he's given a little bit of room, the stewards don't look at that favorably. So Gar really driving smartly here himself. Yeah, frustrated, I'm sure.
Yes, and at the same time, these guys are not catching Jay Buford. I think the cars that may have the speed are those two Camaros, but they're stymied right now behind Pumpelly. Still 30 minutes to go, so I think the key is from a driver's psychology, Greg, when Spencer Pumpelly realizes that Gar Robinson is not being super aggressive, that gives him the confidence to take that line back to try and maintain that track position.
This time Spencer early over, and you can do that as long as you're not moving in response to a driver behind you trying to make a move. You can drive anywhere
he's there. He is there.
Oh,
Can he make
floats wide.
He loses the front end just a little bit. Just as he came off the brakes, the nose picked up, lost the front end, understeered wide. Pumpelly just stretches that gap immediately, and now Shane Lewis is all over his teammate. So Gar Robertson is just trying to figure out the chess match down into turn 1.
Shane Lewis had to make a little bit of a judgment call there, didn't he? He said the name on this team is Robinson Racing.
Oh, it's a tough one when you're running against a teammate, and there's an opportunity. Gar there a little bit sideways, corrects it nicely.
Again.
Just needs to get back into his rhythm. And that heat off of Pumpelly has allowed him to close in on Ian James. So
wow, in a hurry, yeah.
Real shuffle of the pack here.
Last lap, Buford the only guy into the 19, so it's not like he's easing off that much. He's still pushing pretty hard. Radicic a little bit quicker than Andretti. Fastest lap in AM right now, though, belongs to Preston Calvert at a 1:20.2. That's a right fine lap.
It really is. I think he's enjoying life since he's met this Panos team.
Yeah.
He likes the platform. The car gives him confidence. He's a good racer, Preston is, and he learns a lot being around guys like Ian James, Stefan Pfeiffer, his engineer.
Well, and I really think a lot of Preston's racing has been an SCCA club competition at the runoffs and national competition. Look at this, Pumpelly late down to the inside. That took no time to run down Ian James.
No, I think Ian James is backing up a little bit, so not sure if the tires have gone away, if he's lost the balance in the race car, some other technical issue. Pace is still reasonably good, but he was chasing down Jay Buford, and Buford has gapped him, and Pumpelly has gone from being under pressure and losing the 3rd position. He's up to 2nd right now.
Now we'll see what he's able to do, because you know that Ian James is going to fight to hold on to his position, and that could blunt Robinson and Lewis here. Gar taking a little look down into turn 10. It'll be interesting to see lap times now. Spencer, that last lap, as he was running down James, running a 1:19 again, down into that sub-120 range. Buford, though, at a 1:19.5. So Pumpelly has, there you can see the margin there. Interesting to see what lap time Pumpelly runs this time. Buford is 17.9, a 19.7, excuse me, and Pumpelly a 20 flat, so Buford's still quicker.
Oh, James is in trouble.
Yeah, something's not right.
He is backing out of it big time, so I'm not sure if he's got some kind of overheating issue or something amiss, but he is definitely bailed out of this battle. And this will be key to see what sort of pace does Gar Robinson have right now. He's got to dig deep, get back into the groove, hit his marks, and see if he can chase down Pumpelly.
Yeah, writing is on the wall, on timing and scoring. A 1:22 for Ian James that last lap, Cal. Everybody else in the very low 20s. So something is amiss.
Yeah, and he was looking to sweep this weekend. There's that Cabana Cup, which has got a big reward. If you can do 5 sweeps of a weekend, 100K. Actually, it's 150K for a GT4. So looks like that's going to be a tough road for Ian James now as he drops further down the field.
Margin for Buford up front, though, up to over 6 seconds here as we are coming up on the halfway point in this race. 1 minute away. There is Jade, that Luma rank flashing 001. The only one that flashes is the one for the overall race lead. And Buford has controlled this one from the off. Here comes Pumpelly. And about a 10th quicker than Buford. Not making massive inroads. Then here's the 2 Camaros than James. Then we drop back. Cooper still hanging on to 6th spot overall, but a little bit farther behind the leading group in AM. Good battling unfolding here. This is Mark Clennon in the number 62. That is the premier copier KPR McLaren, currently running 6th in the AM category. There's Nikolai Elgahanian in the Muellerized Marco Polo. That is the KTM Crossbow. He had that great jump early, moved up a few spots, but now it's just sort of plateaued, it seems. And there is Collingwood of the BGB Motorsports Porsche. He rolled in here on a mean-looking 2-wheel ride this morning, a really trick-looking chopper. And he said it's too beautiful a day not to be out on the bike, but he said I'm ready to get behind it with 4 wheels here. He put in a nice run yesterday.
What a cool way to spend your Sunday.
Yes,
beautiful
absolutely.
morning, ride the chopper to the racetrack, and then you drive this Porsche Cayman around these streets of St. Petersburg. He's done a really nice job here. A lot of great guidance from John Tisi, who leads the BGB group.
As that loop tackle design Porsche running very well once again for the rookie in Pirelli GT4 America competition. There you see Jared Andretti, that orange-nosed McLaren, but look at this, Calvert now starting to take a little run at Marco Radicic, the BMW M4 GT4 under attack by the Avezzano GT from Panos Racing. Battle for second in AM. This is what you're talking about with Preston. It's like you're not supposed to do that, but I'll give it a look.
I love it.
What I was going to say with Preston, a lot of his racing in club racing, big V8 Mustangs and Corvettes. I think this platform suited him a lot better than that Porsche rear engine did, and he's more comfortable in this car.
Yeah, he is, and it shows in his performance, his results. He's knocking on the door of victory, it seems, every weekend, so that makes it a lot of fun. I tell you what, as these two guys battle, Andretti has taken off a little bit.
And with Preston, it doesn't hurt to have a guy named Ian James to be able to compare data with, and two, to have an engineer like Stefan Pfeiffer to be able to look at things and go, look, we can give you a little bit more here, that sort of thing.
Radicic in there, super deep, just keeps it together. That rolling speed just from the corner of my eye, like he's carrying too much speed, but kept it together. This is a brilliant drive for Marco.
Yes, it is.
Really keeping it together nicely. As Preston continues to heap the pressure on.
And onto the front straight we go one more time, and then behind them you can see Gaples constantly lurking back there.
James Buford continues to lead for the PF Racing team. His teammate James Pesic is out once again with another alternator problem, so that's a shame for that group. To lose their second. Oh, big wiggle there by Radicic. Preston's going to have a run.
And Radicic senses it, moves over for that bump, and now Preston looks. This isn't quite close enough.
The BMW just stretches him a little bit. Kind of eases the pressure as he gets into the brake zones. BMW in the field, but he's done a nice job hanging on to this position, but Preston is all over him.
On to that long run now, out of turn 9 through the kink in 9A. See if Preston is close enough, not quite, I don't think, to try anything down here into 10.
Boy, Marco rolls in speed there, kind of loses a little bit of the exit speed. I think if he kind of controlled his entry speed a little bit, it'd be quicker off.
He's doing that just to try and protect from any type of lunge from Preston.
Not sure if you can protect from Preston.
Well, that's a good point. It's a good point, but I was saying a little bit earlier about Marco and that precision driving, and now it's precisiondrivingtech.com. They're creating that brand and some product lines, product called Precise Sight, a long-lasting window treatment, and they're really trying to up the visibility and offerings of that brand. And they said what we'd like to do is turn this team into a little bit more of a juggernaut and get some customers and have a big racing program out of it as well. So big plans for this right now, small team.
See everyone take that little jink to the right there as they exit turn 3. There's a cross street there that has a lot of camber to it. Creates a big bump and can damage the underside of the chassis, so everyone kind of makes that little move. Marco Radicic continuing to hustle this BMW to good effect.
Yeah, he is hanging on and trying not to lose any more ground to Jared Andretti, the leader in the AM category, right there, going out of the bottom of the frame. And then this battle for second. Calvert's teammate, by the way, James, still in 5th, but he's now dropped about almost 5 seconds off of Lewis. So he really continues to struggle.
I would guess maybe overheating issue, or maybe kind of some sort of brake issue where he didn't want to be in the thick of that battle any longer, and that's just the experience there, thinking about the point situation, thinking about the big picture of the championship. So Preston gets a big run here, but that BMW there just seems to gain about a car length second half of the straightaway, maybe even more than that, and that just takes all of the pressure off when he gets to that brake zone.
One of the things you'll notice, that BMW M4 GT4 is a little bit bigger greenhouse area as opposed to some of the other cars, the McLaren, the Panos, that are a little bit more slippery looking, if you will. And still a very effective car that has had a lot of success in the GT4 category. And then right behind them, Gaples dropped off a little bit now, about 2 seconds or so behind, but continuing to keep them in sight. But for Gaples, the bright yellow Volt lighting Park Place Motorsports Porsche of Alan Brynjolfsson, yesterday's winner in AM, lurking.
They're going to be tight in points if they maintain those positions, basically flip-flopping positions over race one. Just got word that Ian James does have some kind of mechanical issue that he's dealing with, just trying to nurse that car to the finish. We also understand that our leader, Buford, has been dealing with a lot of understeer as the track has gripped up this weekend, and they've really been trying to fight that. Actually took a little bit of rear wing angle out, which is a nice thing to have if you can get less drag, more straightaway speed, and aid the balance of the race car. That's a twofer. That's a really good thing to have.
That is win-win. And he continues to lap. Buford does consistently in the mid to high 19s. Robinson and Lewis dip into the 19s. Everybody else into the 20s. So Buford is controlling this one beautifully. Is it just me, or is the pace of this battle for second reeling them a little closer to Andretti? Because he's fallen off of Cooper by about 5 seconds, Cal.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a poor lap on the last one. You're right, Greg. They have closed in nearly a second on that previous lap. So, not sure if Jared Andretti just had a moment. The other problem is you run a little bit wide around here. You can pick up some marbles. You lose the grip. Take you a lap or so to get those clean back off again. It also kind of spooks you a little bit. Suddenly the car won't turn. You kind of get a little bit conservative in terms of attacking this racetrack.
Well, we've just been watching what has so far, Cal, been a dominant run by Jade Buford. We're just going to track him for this entire lap, take us around a little bit, and there he goes across that tricky paint down into turn one.
Yeah, you really want to keep it nice and tight over to the right-hand side. Listening to Jade through there, he's really high in the RPM as he does a short shift to third, up to fourth. Just give yourself that margin. See all those marbles that weren't there in the opening laps of this race. You've got to be careful of that and adjust your racing line accordingly. Hard on the brakes. Second gear through this section, really super technical. Just hit your marks, don't ask too much out of the race car. And if you're in a battle, really turn those mirrors down and just focus on your line through here. And then the key corner is getting off of turn 9. And here him winding out the RPMs on that Mustang and then setting up for that high-speed kink. Just about flat, just feather the gas a little bit. Grab another gear. Into fifth gear, hard on the brakes. Third gear corner if you got the grip, maybe second if you're starting to lose the tire grip a little bit later in the going. Just lift, get the car tucked in, ride the curbs a little bit without unsettling it and getting set up for this one. Double apex, in tight, a little bit wider, and then back to power. Get the hands straight, and accelerate. Just look in your rearview mirrors, loosen the hands a little bit. Chance to breathe momentarily.
Well, that was getting around 1.8 miles of downtown St. Petersburg in 1 minute and 20 seconds with Jade Buford. Buford continues to have a strong run now, up by some 8 seconds over the field. He has just dominated this one. Pumpelly now starting to, and Robinson running really close to that wall as well. This battle for second in the pro category continues to be stout. Lewis has dropped off just a little bit, Cal.
He has, but Spencer has got tremendous rhythm and flow through this circuit. He is literally getting every possible ounce of performance out of that Porsche Cayman right now, but Gar Robinson has chased him down. I really feel that Gar Robinson may have the strongest car here today, but got embroiled in that battle, lost a bit of ground, and has regrouped nicely. But unless there's a reset with a late race caution, even if he can get around Pumpelly, it's now an 8-second lead for Jade Buford.
Jade is controlling this race at the front, but in terms, you mentioned it earlier, of championship for the season, this is the crucial battle. Both these guys in it for the season at this stage. So there's a big swing, bigger than we've had in the past, from first to second place points, but still finishing in front of the guy you're racing for the entire season. If you're second and he's third, that's a good thing. And look at this battle in the AM class. It is on. Marco Radicic with Preston Calvert on his sixth have reeled in Jared Andretti. Top three, mighty close.
They really are. And looking at Jared Andretti's car coming off of turn 10, did not look happy. Looked like he's really having to chase the handle on that race car. So maybe he's just got a little bit of a loose car, just trying to hang on. He should be comfortable with that based on his racing background.
Well, the interesting thing, that is a slippery car that McLaren However, it is one of the heavier cars in the field, and as hard as he was pushing, trying to run with Cooper earlier in the leg, he may well have just run the tires off. These Pirellis are superb, but you push them hard enough, they're going to give up at least a little.
Well, this is just a fabulous race here for the M-Class win. Marko Radisek, hats off to him. This is the best performance I've seen him put in World Challenge competition. He's been under immense pressure. He's chased down the leader right now. What a day is potentially in store for him.
A couple of times I've seen that McLaren of Andretti, the back end swinging around a little bit as he exits turns. He's definitely pushing hard and may have lost a little bit of that grip, and you're right about Marko. Thinks about it here.
You can just see there, he kind of turns in a little bit early there, takes a lot of rolling speed to apex as Preston takes a nose down the inside, but he's losing a lot of exit speed by doing that, so he's just got to think about how to set up Jared Andretti. I mean, he was too far back to make a move, so just stay in line, focus on hitting your mark, a little twitch there, and Preston gets a run.
Yeah, back end really rotated there for Radisek.
Watch here, though, I think he may. Pretty even. Preston down to the inside, hard on the brake. Can he keep it together? He's gonna, yes, he does, but now he swings that wide. Marko comes back at him. It's gonna be super tight here for turn 3.
And he's through, but they've now lost ground to Andretti, and Tony Gaples has joined this battle right behind, and he had a great run. Let's see, does he try it? No, not quite close enough into 4, but Gaples in that Black Dog McLaren.
Getting better as this run goes on as well. And remember, it's like cut and paste of yesterday with he and Preston in a fierce battle for position for many, many laps. Radisek just needs to regroup here. He made that move down into turn 10, which is probably not the best decision. Now you can see him kind of overdriving the car a little bit. I don't think the car would have gone away that quickly in the course of 1 or 2 laps, but I think he just needs to settle down, eyes ahead, and focus on that McLaren of Jared Andretti.
You're talking about great, the drive by Marko in World Challenge competition. The one that stands out prior to this was at Road America a few years ago in the GT Cup class. Preston awfully close.
Almost a little love tap there.
Just a little bit. That Marko and Yuki Hirata put on that Ferrari versus Yuki's Lamborghini. And Marko's been doing some other racing, etc. But boy, he is back and is showing what he's capable of here. Let's see. Andretti's last lap at 21.7, so was Marko's.
Well, it's Marko and Andretti, not Marko Andretti.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, Marko with a K. There is Mr. Gaples.
What a racer he is. Just historically, he always comes good on race day. Had a great qualifying run based off his fast lap yesterday, but second half of the races is when Tony really seems to come into his stride.
Which tells you that he really is easy on those tires, isn't he? He doesn't, see him pitching the car around, and it comes good at the end. And this is his 20th season now? I think a World Challenge
the competition, and he takes the game seriously.
Yes, he does.
He runs with guys like Lawson Archimag. Oh, as we see Gar all over Spencer Pumpelly. A little touch there. Things are heating up with just over 10 minutes to go.
The one concern with these cars, and obviously aero is so important on these cars, those little kind of touches, it didn't knock one of those dive planes off, but if it does, it can upset the handling of these cars.
It certainly does. They certainly add downforce and give you more front grip. Marko just defending, taking that shallow angle down into turn 1. Preston settles back in.
Both of them running a little quicker than Andretti.
Marko is backing up a little bit. I think Preston has a quicker car right now. There's another look at that touch. How tight do you like it?
Yeah. That's just a little peck.
That won't phase Spencer Pumpelly at all. He's been in a lot of tough battles over his racing career. He just loves the intensity.
By the way, in that AM category right now, the cat amongst the pigeons might be the number 7 of Alan Brynjolfsson, that bright yellow Volt Lighting car, as he is throwing down laps quicker than anybody else. Look at this move. Robinson down to the inside. Oh, big touch.
Big touch. That could be some damage to the front suspension on either one of those cars.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good clout there. It had to happen sooner or later. You can't keep running side by side there without eventually getting a little bit of argy-bargy going on.
Yeah, Spencer had definitely opened the wheel up for him a little bit, but Gar had, it's not like Gar hit the curb and just bounded across anything. So we're getting a report now, race control, that is under review. So we'll see another look at it here, Cal.
Take another look, and the driver on the outside always thinks that they got a little bit more grip, so Spencer comes across, but Gar already had that understeer into the car before, where he wasn't quite so committed. He had the car a bit more turned. You could see there just the angle of the Camaro. He's in a little bit of an understeer condition and can do nothing at that stage to really stay off of Spencer Pumpelly. I look at it as a racing deal. You know, both drivers going hard for it, going for the win, trying to chase down Jade Buford here today.
The only concern would be, are either of those cars injured a little bit as a result of that contact? Jade Buford continues up front, though. Great run, up by some 8.5 seconds. Well, now, as they come through after that contact, it's over 10 seconds. With Robinson now showing in second. Nice job there by Nikolai Elkahanian, realizing he's just not quite on the pace today and just letting Jade slide through.
Dominant performance.
Yes.
And again, that's the beauty of a doubleheader weekend. You can tweak on that race car, take the lessons learned on day one, tweak on a little bit. We understand they dropped that rear wing. That'll give them that straightaway speed edge. And if it keeps the balance in the race car a little bit better.
Here's the AM battle for the lead.
They have made a call, Greg.
They have asked the 7-4, that's Gar Robinson, to go back behind the 66.
Trouble is, that's about a 3-second gap right now, so he's got to really backpedal. Look at the gap that he's made on Spencer Pumpelly.
And the interesting thing is, where do you go in that little bit of space?
Well, again, fortunately, as his wingman is,
Yes.
so you got to try and time it so you don't lose more than just the position you have to give back. But Shane Lewis will probably be made aware of the situation as well from the team. They'll say, Gar's got to back it up. He's got to give the position back to Spencer, and there he does it down the front straightaway. Don't want to pick up too many of those marbles by running offline. He's got to be careful because Shane's going to have to go for it. Tricky situation there for Shane Lewis. Now he has to tuck back in. He worked out better than I thought it was.
Absolutely. Well, I think Shane was playing wingman there absolutely perfectly. And I mean, Shane had a run on Spencer, and he still gave it up just a little bit to let him through. So
I like those calls, though. I think there's something that should be utilized in all forms of motorsport in terms of, okay, if you've got a bumper on, let's say you got the track, rather than something as severe as a drive-through penalty or some post-race penalty, give it back, go race him again.
I agree completely, and of course, it's all on the shoulders of the guy who has to give it back. If they continue to argue and he stays out, well, then you have no option but to go with some sort of penalty. Gar now looking to the inside in turn 10. Like you said, you can make the pass there, but you've got to be completely alongside or it's going to be ugly.
If you don't make it, you typically lose at least a couple of car lengths, as we saw right there. So you're not close enough. It's a tight window to make it done and to get it done, and typically you're going to force the other driver into that wall on the outside. So risky place, but just over 5 minutes to go. Gar Robinson is going to try and push hard to get that second position back from Spencer.
And again, in many ways, this is in season-long points consideration really, really crucial. Not sure Buford's going to be doing this whole season. As we watch this battle, obviously, with Buford, you know, you talked about how dominant he's been. Well, when you make a mistake and you're a Jade Buford category level driver, you make a little bobble, you want to pay that crew back and get the win, and boy, has he. Look at this.
Woohoo! 5-car battle for the lead in AM right now. Andretti still has it. Radicic to the outside. Big deep move. Can he make it stick? He's understeering wide. Preston's through. Tony Gables goes with him, as does Alan Brindleson, maybe? Oh, he spins. He spins. He got out wide there in the marbles. Got to try and turn this around before the rest of the field comes down. That was pretty.
That was nice job by Alan, the Icelandic assassin, as I've had fun joking around with him, but doing a superb job. And Radisik had an idea there, just got in a little too hot. And that has allowed Gaples through as well.
Preston Calvert up on the wheel, looking for more. He's been promoted to that second position. Now he's going to try and work over Jared Andretti, who's hanging on. Looked like the balance has gone away from him a little bit, but just staying super disciplined. No big mistakes to open the door. Gar Robinson again down the inside on Spencer Pumpelly.
Oh, not deja vu all over again. Good deal, as Robinson just a little bit more circumspect that time. And Pumpelly hangs on at the front. Great battle for second in the pro category. Fabulous battle for the lead in the M class. Pumpelly keeping Robinson behind him, but boy, he's been dealing with this pretty much this whole race, Cal.
It's amazing. Look at this. Tony Gaples right there, looking to the inside on Preston Calvert. Takes it in super deep. Little twitch there. Can he get it slowed down? This is going to be tight. They touch. There's contact. Tony goes around. Radisik is through.
And Tony, a great recovery.
Yeah, just a little bit too late there to try and get the job done, but he's going for it. Big hit. Have to see if there's any damage on either race car as Gar Robinson increases the pressure on Spencer Pumpelly.
Boy, for Tony, as that car started to go around, he just dropped it down a couple of gears. It kept those rears spinning. That was a nice recovery after that little bit of a mistake. And Pumpelly, speaking of mistakes, he can't afford the slightest of ones right now.
And with this battle, that has allowed Jay Buford to gap this field now by 16 seconds. What a dominant performance as Gaples is in the recovery mode. There we see it, up and over the curb. Just the window really wasn't open there, but Tony was certainly going for it. Took to the curb a little bit. That takes the grip away when the wheels aren't touching the ground, obviously.
Yeah.
Just gets into the side of Preston.
So that's got him dropping back just a little bit. Oh, and look at this.
Robinson's
Robinson's through. He's through.
Robinson up to second. He has a good race car, but time is running out big time, as you can see. No way without problems for Jay Buford. He's going to run him down, but points is big here as he gets around Spencer. He and James, the winner from yesterday, some 12 seconds behind this pack right now, running in the 5th position, and the other Panos in the field.
And for Pumpelly, as we take a look at a replay of the pass here, Cal.
Well, he's tried it many times, and you see the little twitch there, just releases the brakes. You see the hands working. Spencer has to give it to him, but Gar's on the power early enough to just get that track position before they get to turn 2.
Oh, and Lewis tried to sneak through as well. And now Pumpelly, it's same story, different number behind him at this stage in these last few minutes into our final 2 minutes. So it should be this lap and one more. Well, no, it might be 2 more laps. We're getting a report next time by. White flag, yep.
2 laps to try and get the second of the 74 Ranch machines on the podium.
Once again, you talked about it. Spencer immensely experienced, but so is Shane Lewis. These two have raced each other a lot over the years.
Look at Gar Robinson, he's just taken off, so I think Spencer's used his car up pretty much just trying to maintain that track position all day long. He's been floating this car around this race circuit. As Radisik starts to put the pressure back on Calvin, that BMW does have good straightaway speed. Jared Andretti, though, doing an amazing job just maintaining and being disciplined and hitting his marks. No mistakes, not open up the door, but Preston is even closer now. Roll great speed through turn 1.
Meanwhile, here comes Buford looking at a white flag. 1 lap to go for our race leader in the PF Racing Ford Mustang GT4. And there it flies as he comes by, and nobody in sight at this stage. That's how dominant a run he has put in. Last time it was 17.5 seconds he had over the second place battle here. Robinson coming through.
Oh, Lewis, big run.
Yep.
He has the run. Can he cut and paste the move that his teammate did just a couple of laps ago? Down to the inside. Spencer's got nowhere to go. Yeah, I think Spencer's car has basically run out of juice in terms of grip to defend.
Oh, Gaples around. It's entry of turn 5.
Damage on that left front fender. I'm not sure if that was from the earlier hit. Damage to the rear diffuser as well now.
Meanwhile, Buford last time up through turn 9. This final long run. Quick look at what, oh, he got a little help.
Did get a little turn there.
Alan Brynjolfsson trying to come back up.
Tony's going to be pleased with
Oh,
that
look
one.
at this,
Preston
for
for
the
the lead. Can he make it stick?
There. Oh!
Look at Radisek. He gets to the inside. Can he get second position away from Andretti? He does.
He does.
That was super tight. Good clean driving there between all three of them.
Yeah, Preston came in with a head of steam. And Andretti had to open the wheel up. Meanwhile, here we go. Buford, after the mistake yesterday, took him out of a possible win. As Cooper is parked, Buford comes back and absolutely throttles the field in the PF Racing Ford Performance Ford Mustang. That's how you repay a crew when you feel you've let them down. Looking behind him, here comes Gar Robinson. Great run to the second spot. Teammate Shane Lewis into third. Pompelli, I'm sure, a little frustrated fourth. Cooper got it restarted, but has dropped down. Meanwhile, here comes Ian James. He's been fighting that issue. We still haven't really heard what it might be, but he was able to bring that car home and limp it through. And meanwhile, here's the battle, Cal, in the AM category. Calvert with Radisek in close concert, but Preston enough in hand. And the Panos Avezzano GT of Preston Calvert is going to win the AM category here on the streets of St. Pete. What a great run by Marco Radisek, coming home in second.
That was a fantastic drive by Preston Calvert. Great battle. Congrats to all of those podium runners there. Marco, trying to do a little drifting for the crowd and gets it a little bit wrong, but that's okay. No harm, no foul.
Exactly. Did you see the right side door on Preston's car looked like it has popped open as well?
That was just dominant.
Yeah.
I was concerned about Jade maintaining the tire deck in case there was a reset, but the tweaks they made overnight certainly got that car well into the sweet spot. And as we've seen before, Greg, when Jade Buford has got a car like he has underneath it today, he can just take off.
Man's got skills.
He really does.
No question. Great athlete, that's for sure as well, and that doesn't hurt, but wow. And like I said, you know, nobody was going to be more critical of Jade's little bobble yesterday than Jade. And that just kind of lights the fire. And a driver at this level, you can take that anger, that frustration, the red mist, whatever you want to call it, but you can use it and focus it.
Yeah, I look at Jade as being, you know, an emotional driver, and I'm sure he sat there last night thinking, oh, I let one get away there. He's done a great job, and on that restart just decided to go way down on the inside, hit that painted stripe, made that critical little bobble. It cost him a big win. So to sit there last night and dwell on it at dinner, I'm sure he wanted to come back strong, and a superb run today.
He absolutely put one together, that's for sure, and all credit to the PF team working with Jade. Obviously gave him a car that was good from start to finish. And what a run he put in. Officially, after backing it off on that last lap a little bit, a 10.4 second margin of victory, but he had it up over 18 seconds late in the race. That is domination. And of course, for the 51 of Preston Calvert in the Panos Avezzano GT, another win this weekend for Panos Motorsports. Ian James winning overall yesterday, Preston and AM today. Not a bad weekend as they start their honorary season for Dr. Don Panos. That's pretty special stuff. There comes Preston in, and everybody looking forward to celebrating after a great round two of the Pirelli GT4 America Sprint Championship here in the streets of St. Pete, presented by CrowdStrike. Just a fabulous race once again. And again, Calvert, Radisek, and Andretti, your top three in the AM category. And there comes the man, Jade, out of that car and enjoying that bit of celebration. Behind him, that bright yellow helmet, that's Preston Calvert. So the two winners staged right there together. And as we take a look at some highlights, Cal, I think we are in for an absolutely fabulous season. And the next race on the championship, guess where? Another street course and another legendary one.
Yeah, just great racing. I mean, the GT4 platform has been embraced. Big fields. It's a real melting pot with all the manufacturers involved. We had some great racing here this weekend.
Yeah, I can't wait for this season to unfold. Incredible racing on tap in the Pirelli GT4 America Sprint Championship. Great to have you with us here at St. Pete. For Calvin and for Ryan Marine, we will see you next time from Long Beach, California. Thanks, everybody.